how did it all come about for them to call you for the Rumble? Because this is your first WWE thing since leaving, which is crazy.
It's crazy. Like, well, the funny thing is too, like, there was no like rumblings ever. Like, so October was when I left. And so that was like October 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. But then I hadn't wrestled the year before that. So I think I just crossed over 4 years gone, but 5.5 years since a match. So like my last match, I didn't even know, the fans like tweet you. It was like, and I never was like, ow, I'm injured. It was like, I started to like kind of speak up after this like live event match. I think the fans have told me my last match was like with Foxy in like a random city in July. And I had like kind of spoke up and then like went to a doctor, then went to another doctor and went to another. And like, so then I never really knew, like, so that'll be cool, like going to the Rumble again. Cause I'll be like, oh, I never like had a last match and I can like be present in that moment and aware of like what's happening. But yeah, no one had like called me, texted me, nothing. I remember like at the beginning of the pandemic, living in New York, I was like, oh, Connecticut's kind of close. Like, I wonder if I'd work for headquarters. And then the pandemic hit. So I like always Carano and like Cone would like message me happy birthday. And I never burned the bridge, like, but I also don't have access to like Vince or anything. And so it just was always fine, but like no rumblings of anything. And then I went to Tennille's show on Impact because I just happened to be in Vegas and I was like sick. And like, of course, the Dirt Sheets picked that up and we're like, oh, she's going there. And I was like, no, I'm just like, not, it's very coincidental. Like I just happened to go to her show, like I guess I could have sat in the back, but I wanted to see her, And so I'm literally packing for Abu Dhabi. It was like 9:00 at night. And I see John Cohn's name pop up on my phone. And I went, what? And you just know, I literally picked up the phone and I said, what do you want? And he was like, I go, oh, don't you play coy with it? What on earth? Like, what is this? It's been 4.5 years. And he goes, well, putting together a list of like potential girls, wanted to gauge your interest. And I kind of was like, I honestly didn't even really get my hopes up. I said, well, that's flattering and cool. Of course. Like there's only been, is it 3 women's rumbles?
I think this is 3 or 4. Yeah. I want to say 3, which means that it's probably 4. I don't know.
Yeah. So I was like, I mean, that's amazing. Like growing up, like the Rumble for me is like my favorite pay-per-view. It was always that or Money in the Bank. I thought was really cool. And then of course, Mania, everyone loves, but almost all of my guy friends love Rumble. It's just fun. It's Rumble's exciting.
The best one. It's the best pay-per-view.
I think so. Like when the Godfather comes out and his host.
Get on the hoe train, baby.
I want to be on your host. I told him that the first time I met him. I was like, I used to want to be your host so bad. And he was like, ma'am, are you with catering? Like, who are you? I was like, no. So
big fan.
Yeah, big fan. So I was like, that's crazy. And I think I called my mom. I was like, you'll never guess what. And my mom was like, oh, well. And then I literally flew to the Middle East. So it was like, they were like, you won't find out till like probably in the new year. I was like, okay, great. So like got it, received it, let it go. And then he called me like, I think 5 days later and was like, well, Merry Christmas, because we actually have an answer for you. And it's yes. And I was with Tennille and I was like, really? I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. And then in my head, I just started thinking, I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, like gear, like what moves do I do? What is my entrance? Like what? And I was like, wait, when is this? Like, who do I tell? Like, do I not tell? Like, where is it? Like, so it's just all in your head. And Tennille was like so happy for me. She was like, oh my gosh. And I was like that too, but I was like processing it. I'm like, wait. And so I was like, does he know I have red hair? And they're like, yeah, Johnny loves it. Vince thinks it's cool. And I was like, okay. And so then I didn't even ask who else was. I was just like, okay, great. And then I hung up the phone and like Tennille was like, that's great. Spin kick cover. Or something. She's like, she's like, do a little spin kick, roll through, She's like, you could be in there for 2 minutes or 20. Who knows? I was like, yeah, that's true. And so I love that her response, for me for that. Like she's just a really good friend. And so then I kind of was like, oh shoot, like I'm overseas and forever. So that's when I kind of was like, I don't even know anyone to like a ring or like fix gear or anything. So, luckily I have like really good pieces of gear that I've like spent like $1,500 on that I've like never really worn, but once.
Good.
So I've been able to like alter stuff, which I know it's gonna like annoy some people, but like also no one pays my bills, and like, you know, that's just what I want to do.
Totally. 100%.
Yeah.
No,
So
I mean, when I think of Summer Rae, I picture like the pink and the gold.
oh my gosh, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. That one's a little beat up because I wore that a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, honestly, like I'm just really excited. I have no idea. Well, then they called me last Friday and said, hey, I'm like on the treadmill, and I was like, so Vince like wants to announce a couple of people tonight in the guys match and the girls match, and he's thinking about announcing you, so like just a heads up about your socials are going to surge. And I was like, wait, really? And then I'm thinking in my head, oh my gosh, I haven't told any of my best friends. Like I'm going to look like such a bad person, you know, like I really had not told anyone because I didn't want anyone to ruin the surprise. And so then when it happened, like I kind of was like a little like taken back, because I'm like, oh, that stinks. Like it's supposed to be a surprise. But then also in my head, I was like, all right, cool. I'm going to use this to market the crap out of me and what I'm doing. So I'm just like, every time I'm in the gym, it's like the road to Rumble, and, you know, I can like reignite my beefs again with Natty. Pamela Bailey. She like, she
Pam,
like wrote
who's
me,
Pam?
like,
I
oh my
remember that when I
gosh.
first met her. I'm like, who the hell is Pam?
It is
Bailey.
Pam is like such an old lady name, and she's like so young and cool.
She's
So
the
I was
best.
actually going to see her because I was going to visit my roommate, my old roommate, and she was like doing something at one of his gyms. So we ended up FaceTiming recently. So she started like put me over on Twitter with call to me and all this stuff. So it was funny. Like, so I talked to a bunch of the girls, and, you know, they all were like, oh my gosh, it's an insane match to put together. And like everything changes up until the moment that you walk out. And I'm just like, how is that even possible? Like imagine someone goes up for a superplex and you forget and throw someone across the way and they get suplexed on. Like it's just interesting. But
yeah,
I mean, I definitely like have no ego. Like I feel like I'm very easy to work with. And I think producers probably have a time with the boys and the girls matches for those because of all the personalities and the egos and getting your shit in. So, you know, with me, like I would love to have maybe like we can have like a little Total Divas moment, because there's going to be so many of us Total Divas in there, and, you know, have like, you know, maybe a spot with Natty or something, and then wave to my friends. I have like a lot of people coming. So really
I know, because I'm on this group chat for the cardio situation. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on?
So for no one listening, I knew I was doing this. I knew I was doing the Rumble, and I was like, I would love to like walk on the treadmill for 30 minutes every day. So I started with my group, like close group of friends. I think there's like 30 people in our chat, and we do 30 minutes of cardio for 30 days, but it's the most random group of people. It's like Renee and Tennille with like my hairdresser from New York, my old roommate, a couple gay friends,
your mom,
like my mom and sister, Allie's mom, like all these people. And it's been cute. Like we're all like really super encouraging us stuff. But when it all came out, it's crazy. Like I just feel like I've done something right, where I just have friends that will drop what they're doing. They have babies and stuff, and they will like buy a ticket and come, like fly, hotel. I mean, it's not cheap. And I mean, I'm probably like 5 of my friends today, I have to help them find tickets when we get off the phone, but like they want to come. So I think I have almost like 15 people. So
oh my gosh,
it's pretty cool. So I'm like, please do not let me in there for 90 seconds, but like
Summer Rae section.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
So crazy. I mean, yeah, like when they announced them, I mean, obviously with Mickie James coming over, I mean, with her working at it's like, that's the one that was like, wait, what's happening?
So
to have
on
that.
Twitter, like on Twitter, I was like, don't look at Twitter, don't look at Twitter, don't look at Twitter. Cause like the trolls are so mean. And like,
like, are they
back when I was wrestling, it was like, you can't wrestle, you're horrible, we hate you. Like, it was like the Paige, Charlotte, Sasha era. And like, I was like in between that with the divas and then the workers. So like I was with Fandango, but I kind of got lost in the mix a little bit. So fans were really mean to me. So I was like, but I was so curious. I was like, I want to see what they're saying. And it was so interesting because people were mad that they spoiled it. Mm-hmm. And then everyone tagged me with Mickie. So it was like I would have been shocked. Like they're happy that Barbie's back and Lita's back and Michelle, but they were like, I would have been so shocked at Mickey and Summer.
Yes.
And I was like, really? I'm like, okay, that's cool. And like, it seemed like everyone was really nice. But yeah, I wish they would have kept
I know
Mickey a secret, but I guess too, like, I mean, I take it as a compliment. I think they need ticket sales. And so, you know, to ever be in the same mix as like the Bellas and Lita and stuff,
yeah, good
like
company.
Good company. Yeah.
It's so cool. I cannot wait to see this. I'm so excited. When I saw your
They
name announced, I
ruined
was
some of
like,
the boys.
bitch, what?
Oh my God. They ruined some of the boys, right? They said some of the boys that were.
I think that they did. I'm not 100% on that because I mostly saw the women's one. And then the main thing I saw with the men's is like Johnny Knoxville entering it, which is going to be great. But I love the Rumble. It truly is like my favorite pay-per-view. So I'm super excited to watch it.